Hello and welcome to the 3D Printing Solution. My name is Mark. I'm a team member with Create and Code, and today we're going to be talking about where 3D printing is now and where it's going in the future. Do me a favor and take a look around you. And what do you see? You see objects that went through a design process and were manufactured in a warehouse, a factory, a workshop. But what if I told you that those could actually all be produced in your own living room on your own time at your convenience? That is actually made possible through a technology called 3D printing, which is just the process of, rather than starting with a block of material where you remove material till you have your final product, you actually build up layer by layer what you want to produce. 3D printing is found really in three main realms. The first of those being rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, and home products. Within rapid prototyping, there's really two main reasons that it is so heavily invested in. It's in-house. Your printers are on your facilities, so the lead time of prototype production is greatly reduced. You don't have to wait for it to be shipped or milled and go through an entire workshop process. It's as easy as hit print and come back when it's done. It doesn't require the high levels of accuracy that you would usually have otherwise, but that's alright because the prototypes don't need to be as accurate as the final product. Once you have the printer, once it's in your possession, the only cost is for the materials. Those include plastic, metal, glass, ceramics, and you can actually print with food or human tissue now. The technology is not just as simple as let me build a pen on my printer. It's also found in additive manufacturing. This is a from the ground up kind of method of producing the part. Additive manufacturers have really taken an interest in 3D printing because it allows for a more modular manufacturing environment, which means that a facility with a given square footage, let's say they have 20 machines, they can be printing 20 things at once of the same item, or they can be printing 20 different items or anywhere in between. They're very flexible with their production. The other thing is it's very space efficient for the mass production process. Rather than having entire assembly lines that take up lots of space with molding machines, packing machines, all that, everything is done in the one printer, and the only other tool is somehow get the product into packaging, which is just very space efficient. You can fit a lot more machines making a lot more product in the same amount of space. Within the home projects realm, 3D printing has also really taken off. It is in education, schools, both high schools and colleges that offer some kind of technology and design education coursework are really excited about 3D printing. It offers a tangible learning experience. What they print and what they are capable of coming up with, they can print. They can, play with it, touch it, see where the strong points are, where it breaks. And it really is taking education to the next level. It's not expensive. A simple MakerBot, which is the typical kind of go-to printer, is generally between $500 and $1,000. The high-end home 3D printers are about $2,000. And just like within the rapid prototyping, once you have the machine, your only expense is the material. 3D printing is really revolutionizing what people are capable of doing, both on a small and large scales. There are companies that specialize in cakes, and there are, within that community, there's a small group that has taken to actually 3D printing the cake. rather than extruding plastic from the nozzle, they'll actually put a really quick setting cake batter. They'll do it in a high heat environment, and so you're printing a 3D cake. You get these elaborate shapes, and they look really cool. Within labs, people are using human tissue to print. They'll actually print organs such as ears, kidneys. Nothing super complex. We can't print brains, but it's getting there. NASA actually has taken to 3D printing because rather than sending hundreds of spare parts into space with whatever is going into space, they'll actually send a 3D printing machine that uses a high-powered laser to weld really small particles of titanium together. And they send a lot of the bulk material, just that titanium powder, and you can print any part that you could possibly need and put it back on to whatever you need to keep going on with your mission. The last really impressive application of the 3D printing that's kind of an out-of-the-box application is extruding concrete to actually build homes. The current record is somebody built a home in an hour using fast-setting concrete. They programmed on a giant grid what's going to go where. They cut it into their thousands of infinitesimal layers and printed a home. It was a solid concrete home. I don't think it looked very welcoming, but nonetheless, they printed a house. 3D printing is definitely the next step in a more efficient manufacturing process. It's cheap, it's easy to use, it's as easy as printing a piece of paper. You hit print and it comes out. It's relatively quick compared to the alternative, that being send design files to a producer who has to custom make every single prototype. The problem, though, is that the process, to really make it cost effective in manufacturing, you need a lot of printers. Not 20, but hundreds. And that all requires a very close monitoring system to keep everything running at the right speeds, the right way. What we need to do in the future is we need to figure out a way to monitor that, make it completely automated under the control of one operator or a very small operating team. And we can do that with create and code software. We can, or we should, produce software that will give feedback to a centralized operator. His feedback could include what materials are being used, the production rates of each printer, even if you have multiple parts being made, what printer is printing what files. To improve the software, you could actually have it be able to troubleshoot any mechanical or electrical problems, and cut down the repair time to keep as many printers going as fast as they can, as long as they can. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you will take this into consideration when looking for your next project.